Good evening. I'm going to call the June 29th, 2023 regular meeting of the Town Board to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Present.
Councilmember Delarada. Absent. Councilmember McPartlin.
Here.
Councilmember Brennan.
Here.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Here. Okay, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We wish to respectfully acknowledge that Niskayuna is on the traditional lands of the Kanien'kehá:ka and the Mahikanac peoples, past and present, and we honor with gratitude the land itself and the peoples who have stewarded this land throughout generations. All right, may I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the April 25th, 2023 regular meeting?
Motion to approve the minutes from the April 25th, 2023 meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any changes to those minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those minutes are now approved. May I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the June 13th, 2023 special meeting?
Motion to approve the minutes from the June 13th, 2023 special meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any changes to those meeting minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, those meeting minutes are approved. Moving on to committee reports, we'll start with Police and Public Safety.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. Police and Public Safety Committee met on June 1st at 3:30. Under operations, we discussed that there has been an increase in vehicle larcenies recently. Chief advised everyone to lock their vehicles and remove valuables when they can. It's just warmer weather outside and crimes of opportunity. People are just walking by and pulling on car handles to see if the car is open and then proceeding from there. So that was just kind of a heads up from the chief. We also discussed our vulnerable person registry through the police department website. It's up and running, and we're working on pushing that out with information for the public. That should be coming out shortly. It's a registry for anyone who would like to give the police department some information on a loved one who might wander or get lost or need help, and help identify them and keep them safe and comfortable while they get reunited with their family. The police department and other county agencies are working collaboratively to establish crisis intervention teams. It's called the CIT program, and that's grant funded through OMH and DCJS. It's an advanced level of training for the officers. We have under fleet and equipment, speed trailers being constructed by Officer Wyman and Detective Munger. Under training, our police department conducted defensive tactics training on the 15th. This was the second session of that. Our police officers are taking trainings on ambush awareness and preparation through Police One Academy. Sergeant Henry and Sergeant Henry is instructing cultural diversity and bias-related incidents at the Zone 5 Academy. He did that on the 7th. Sergeant Nicholas Party will be instructing the use of force and deadly physical force at the Zone 5 Academy. Under citizen correspondence, ongoing, we have Marita Aguilar. She's requesting a stop sign at North Allendale at Becker Street. It's an uncontrolled intersection. And she is also looking for no dumping signage. That's around the Fieldstone Estates. It's town property. So we're looking into help with figuring that out for her. Norman Dutcher is requesting radar sign on Grand Boulevard to monitor speeding concerns, and the speed trailer is getting deployed. For new correspondence, Brett Steenberg is requesting more patrol presence on Rosendale Road due to concerns over speed and aggressive driving, mostly around the bend around Lock 7. Under town events, we had 2 Coffee with the Cop events, one at the Senior Center and one at the Niskay Starbucks. That was led by Sergeant Henry. For school district, Chief is continuing discussions with the district safety team. They have gone ahead, and the district's ordered the Knox boxes to help the police department have more access to the school buildings in case of emergency. The Niskayuna Cops and Kids Reading Program was discussed, and a thank you to all the officers who participated. And under the bus patrol program, we're working on the contract with Town Attorney Finnan, Comptroller Greenwood, and the school district. And there is a resolution regarding that tonight. And we are going to be meeting again on July 6th at 3:30.
Thank you, Councilmember Brennan. Moving on to community programs.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. The Community Programs Committee met on June 1st. At that point, it was reported that the town pool would be opening on June 17th, and the pool did in fact open as scheduled. A huge thanks to Charlie Bergami and the pool staff who cleaned, sanded, painted, and made opening on time reality. The pool is open weekdays from 12:30 to 7:45 and weekends from 11 p.m. The pool does close early on days when swim meets are scheduled, so we encourage residents to check the schedule on the town website. We're also proud to offer again this year special hours for adult lap swim. That's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings from 11:30 to 12:30, and Tuesday and Thursday mornings from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. The 2023 Summer Concert Series is underway. Elastics is actually playing outside at the gazebo right now, playing pop classics, and summer concerts will continue every Thursday at 7 p.m. through August 10th. The series this year is sponsored by Schenectady County's County Initiative Program, so of course we thank them for their continued generosity in sponsoring our program. Outdoor movie night begins tomorrow with The Parent Trap. Movie night is currently scheduled for every other Friday through August 11th, and we look forward to our future presentations, which include Field of Dreams, The Secret Garden, and E.T. 2 weeks from this coming Saturday, we'll kick off this year's Farmers Market. We're excited to welcome back many of our popular local farmers, vendors, and entertainers. And once again this year, in an effort to make the market totally inclusive, we will be accepting SNAP and FMNP benefits, and we're proud to participate in those programs for the second year in a row. Over at the Senior Center, we just recently held our first trip of the year. 11 seniors took the bus to Proctor's to see the Temptations, and we're looking forward to the next trip, either late summer or early fall. All of our other programs, including Exercise Club, Coffee with a Cop, book program, and many others are continuing as usual. And we just started a new English set dancing class. As a reminder, the Senior Center is closed the first week in July every year. And our next meeting will be 1 week from today, July 6th at 4:30 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Moskowitz. Moving on to Public Works.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. Public Work met June 8th. We have Transportation and Public Facilities. That's headed up by our Highway Department and our Superintendent, Ray Smith. Reported that all the highway crews are out working on trees, the roads. We're starting to get the roads prepared for paving. And when we do that, our crews have to go out. We have to raise manhole covers. We have to make sure that our catch basins are at the right level. So they're very busy working on that sort of stuff now in the summer. So we've started our paving here in the town. Please check the website. That will tell you when your particular area may be impacted by paving in the town and what streets we are paving. Parks crews, they're out mowing our park facilities. As you can see, we have a lot of parks in our towns, so all of those have to be mowed and maintained by our parks crews. Happy to report that the drainage, the baseball fields has been completed and came in under budget. And work has also started on the Fieldstone Trail system. And next we'll be working on the patio area out here behind us when we get the time, and our staff is able to do that. The superintendent reported that we had an inspection at the highway department, and a lift there that we service and maintain all of our own vehicles, not only for highway, but also for the water and sewer department, that the lift did not pass inspection and needed to be replaced. We talked to all the board members about that at the finance committee and got bids on that. Expensive piece of equipment, but you can't service your trucks without it. As I said, we are starting paving. Orchard Park has been started in that area. Again, kudos to our crews for all the hard work they do. It's a lot of work to get the roads ready to be paved. So they go to make sure all the catch basins are at the proper levels. Then they take and open all of those and make sure that they're all cleaned out. If there's any drainage on the sides of the roads, they maintain and make sure everything is in proper order before we put down new blacktop. We're happy to report that the disc golf is open and been mowed. We've increased the area of our low mow area. This was requested by some residents on our town to be habitat for birds and other woodland creatures. So we have expanded that some, and we've gotten many reports that that's working out very well. The town continues. We continue to sweep the roads. We're in, as of the date of the meeting, we were in Zone 4. There'll be a resolution for some surplus items. We have an old bus that was used for the senior center. That bus was replaced, so we'll be surplusing that and some other equipment. We also discussed Avon Crest parking and drainage and possibility of piggybacking that project if we're over there in that area paving. We discussed the security gate at the water tower. We need to make some upgrades there. So that was also discussed during that portion of the meeting. Public Works Committee, that's headed up by our town engineer, Matt Yetto. That includes water and sewer and a lot of other things in the town. The building department, if somebody comes in and needs a building permit, it has to go to our engineering department to make sure that there's nothing that isn't right with the sewer or the water and the facilities are there. We discussed our T-Mobile contract. We have many providers of cellular that use our water tower, and we're happy to report that our town attorney, Elena Finnan, has got that taken care of. We discussed fence agreements. People want to put up fences in their yards that might be on the town easement. We discussed those types of things. He reports in the Water and Sewer Maintenance Department, purchase of some vehicles. We have some tentative resolutions with that. It's very difficult to get vehicles now, so we're sort of always putting these forward so that if we see a vehicle that fits our parameters, we can purchase it quickly. Permanently appointing a maintenance worker in the Water and Sewer Maintenance Department. He also had some surplus equipment that will be on a resolution, and asked me to remind people of the lawn watering regulations. It's posted on the website, odd and even, and hours, depending on whether you have an automatic sprinkler or if you're moving the sprinklers around yourselves. There's different requirements for that. Wastewater treatment plant, our organic waste program is going well, and we're still working on ramping that up and slowly increasing that. So far, it's been going well. We've had to make some adjustments to some of the important equipment there, but it's coming out. It's working very well. Our water treatment plant, that's our drinking water. We're making some upgrades there. We're working with the electrical contractors. We're going to be getting a new electrical service that will service that building, and we're working with contractors, National Grid, to get that work done. And July 15th, is that the right date, Matt? That's what I wrote down for paint recycle. I think that's the right date. There is, you can check their website. There may be a paint recycling date of July 15th. That's what I have in my notes here. So please check the website on that if you have old paint. We don't want to throw that in our garbage or dispose of it down our drain. So there's going to be an event where you'll be able to dispose of that sort of stuff. At our meeting, we also discussed our fall shredding event. Next month, I'll report on the exact date of that, but that's a very popular event here in the town where we have free shredding for our town residents. Also, just another public service announcement that at our transfer station, we are taking electronics now free. So if you've got old televisions that you need to get rid of, you can bring them to the recycle center. If you have a ID that you're a town resident, we can now take that free of charge. And we'll probably still take that at the shredding event also. Our next meeting will be July 6th at 8 a.m.
Thank you, Councilmember McPartlin. Moving on to our Economic Development, Historic Preservation, Environmental Conservation Committee.
Thank you, Supervisor. As you know, we meet every well, the first Friday of every month. So in July, that will be July 7th. We look forward to everybody coming to our economic development meetings. There is usually a lot going on, but this summer, we just hope that you're out enjoying the parks because they're really looking good. Aqueduct Park is doing well down on the Mohawk River. Blatnick Park is doing well. Lions Park is always doing well along the banks of the river. And there is one person individual, and I think we all received an email from Roy Thornton, who has put up 18 bluebird boxes at Blatnick Park earlier this summer, and they are just filled with birds, bluebirds, tree swallows. They have nestings there. They're laying eggs there. He's encouraged a low mow program, and there's been some wonderful birds. He's got, I could list for about probably 14 different species that he's listed that are going over there, from sparrows to the like, mockingbirds, catbirds, house wrens, Carolina wrens. So it's really important that people like Roy continue to do what they're doing, and that's volunteering, both in our parks. Our highway department has done a great job with helping out with these type of initiatives. Everybody going kind of the extra distance is really making things run a lot better. Hopefully these pictures that he sent of the birds we can get on the town website. They might be on there if they're not already. I didn't check before I came. But all that being said, our next meeting will be July 7th. We hope everybody tunes in or comes and puts in their input so we can proceed accordingly. Happy July 4th.
Thank you, Councilmember De La Rada. All right. I am just happy to share that we will be celebrating America's independence next week. We'll have a July 4th, the town hall will be closed, and maybe you can use this opportunity to enjoy one of our parks. And specifically, the boat launch at Lock 7 is now open, and it's a great place for kayaking and fishing. All right, so moving on to privilege of the floor. Are there any residents here for privilege of the floor?
No? Okay. Marie?
Hello, my name is Charles Horowitz. I live at 1223 Ruffner Road. And just referring to item 26, the resolution making a SEQR determination regarding the special use permit. I'm sure you're well aware that this has been a big issue in the meetings leading up to this. And people have spoken from the floor. We've reviewed all of the committees that have reported back. I just want to make the point in advance. I see that this is an environmental report. So there's really 2 points. Where I live, which is right next to the golf course, currently it's dry, but in some seasons it is a swamp. I'm just hoping that when they do this report, that they don't say, well, everything is dry there, so it's not a wetlands, water is not a problem. They need to make sure that it reflects 12 months, not just the one day that they go there. But the main point that I want to make is that the issue for me is more than just, is it a wetland, is an environmental report? There's a people component. For myself, I've been living there 34 years. The plan that the Mohawk Club has put forward, suddenly from my front door, I'll be able to see 3 separate roads right near my house, within 2 or 3 houses on either side and in front. There's one right now, but that's okay. That's part of the neighborhood that I moved into. What they're proposing are 2 additional roads, one house away from me, 3 houses away from me, plus a road adjacent to my backyard. And what they plan on putting on that road is a net to catch the golf balls so that the golf balls don't hit the cars going on that road. Whoops, excuse me. I just want to point out that that is one example of the disregard for the people who live along Ruffner Road. That's just one example. There's numerous ones. So what I am saying to you today, what I'm asking of you, it's not just an environmental report. It's not just a conservation report. You need to take into account the people who live there. And the people, for very many different reasons, do not like this project. Thank you.
I have no other, there was
The
nobody
floor is still,
signed up.
thank you. The floor is still open.
My name is Lorene Zabin, and I'm at 2455 Brookshire Drive. One of the better parts of living here since 1978 has been the town of Niskiuna. I'd like to remind a letter writer, if anybody reads the Gazette anymore, talking about Niskiuna and the possibilities. Niskiuna is a 14-mile square town. It was built as a residential town, and it has maintained that structure since so many of our attempts at businesses seem to go out of business. And when the Mohawk Mall went out of business, of course, then we had the ShopRite Mall or the Grand Union Mall, and wonderful little stores opened up. I don't know whether any of you were here at that time, and they all went out of business. So Niskiuna is basically a residential town. And this business of trying to take a country club that has been here for many, many years, and people are worried about what's going on. I'm not worried about them. They've survived. They have a beautiful golf course. Somebody's going to find out what to do with that. But I do want to remind any developers who are interested in trying to expand the Mohawk Club. It sits on 2 state roads. So in order for them to try to get permits to build all of this stuff that people think they can do on that is going to have to go through state. So I do want people to think about what they want for the rest of their town. And I'm sure I'm going over my limit. I'm sorry there's not a public hearing. I'd like to get this resolved for the people that live in their homes and in their development. I live in a very small development off Route 7, and there's no possibility of them coming in with this type of building. And I think that the town board is taking its time because it's a dilemma as to what to do. The second thing, and I'll be very brief because my time's almost up, which I regret, is that our receptionist and the reception area is a disgrace. We have replaced it with an electric sign. This is not Niskiuna. You're very worried about a person who sits as a receptionist, but you're not worried about the other little businesses and offices that are there. If you're worried about people coming in, I would worry about the public bathrooms that have to be shared by the staff. I think there's a lot that this board could do to make the town of Niskiuna and this beautiful building not only safe, but protected. And I feel that the staff, they're not going to say anything. That's the way the place was built. But you definitely have a public building. So when we put covers on glasses and cover glass doors so that you can't see what's behind that, I think we're tending to be very frightened of our own town. And I'm not going to be frightened of this town. Thank you very much. There's a lot more to say, and I'm hoping you make a decision because people here now have things to do, and I'm sure you have things to do as well. Thank you.
The floor is still open for any other residents who would like to speak. Is there anyone else here who would like to speak? Okay, then we will move on to starting with Resolution 2023-155, sponsored by Councilmember McPartlin. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing the replacement of a truck lift in the town's highway department.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
This is the lift that I spoke about earlier in my committee report that we need to be replaced, and I'm glad we've got the pricing together to get this done.
Seeing no other discussion, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-156, sponsored by Councilmember Moskowitz. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution hiring seasonal employees in the town's Office of Community Programs.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-157, sponsored by Councilmember Brennan. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing upfitting of a police vehicle.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-158, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing certain budgetary modifications.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-159, sponsored by Councilmember McPartlin. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing an addendum to the license agreement with T-Mobile.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-160, sponsored by Councilmember McPartlin. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing the disposition of certain surplus equipment.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-161, sponsored by Councilmember McPartlin. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution appointing an individual to the position of senior water and sewer maintenance worker in the Water and Sewer Department.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-162, sponsored by Councilmember Brennan. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution permanently appointing a person to the position of police lieutenant.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I'd like to just say that we're very excited to have this resolution tonight for Lieutenant Frenier. He's a pleasure to work with, and we're all very fortunate to have him serve our community.
Seeing no other discussion, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-163, sponsored by Councilmember McPartlin. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution permanently appointing a maintenance worker in the Water and Sewer Department.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-164, sponsored by Councilmember Brennan. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution provisionally appointing a court clerk.
May I have a second, please? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. May I please have a second?
Second.
Okay, we need a motion to table this.
I'll make a motion to table this resolution pending civil service.
Thank you. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second the motion to
thank-
table, or to, yes.
Table.
Will the clerk please call the roll to table the resolution?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
So that's 5 ayes to table.
the tabled resolution now passes. Moving on to resolution number 2023-165, sponsored by Councilmember Brennan.
A resolution permanently appointing a sergeant in the police department.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Again, I'm very excited. John Connor is a pleasure to work with. He is an asset to our community, and I'm really glad this resolution's on for tonight.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-166, sponsored by Councilmember Brennan. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution permanently appointing a police officer in the police department.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yes, I would like to say I am again pleased, excited that Lexi Guest is with us, and she has been a great addition to our force, and I look forward to many more years with her.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-167, sponsored by Councilmember McPartlin. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution awarding a contract for the construction of a transformer pad at the town's water treatment plant.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-168, sponsored by Councilmember McPartlin. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing a fence easement agreement with the owners of 1362 Row Road.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-169, sponsored by Councilmember McPartlin. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing a change order for the water treatment plant electrical upgrade project.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-170, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni and Councilmember Brennan. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing an agreement with Bus Patrol America LLC.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Just like to add that this resolution gives us the ability to enter into an MOA with the school district and bus patrol and just keep moving this project forward.
And that is to add the cameras to our school buses, their stop sign arms, so that we can capture drivers who pass buses illegally and endanger children. And we've been working in collaboration with the police department and the school district to get this up and running. The goal is to have it running and ready to go when school starts. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-171, sponsored by Councilmember Brennan. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution accepting a software donation for the town's police department.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-172, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution making a secret determination regarding a special use permit for a 22-lot average density development application at 1851 Union Street, 1245 Ruffner Road, consisting of 10 single-family homes and 12 townhouses.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilman McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Recused.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
So 4 ayes and 1 abstention.
The resolution passes.
Recusal. Sorry.
Resolution number 2023-173, sponsored by Councilmember McPartlin. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution terminating an employment of an individual.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2023-174, sponsored by Councilmember Brennan. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution terminating the employment of an individual.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Delarada.
Aye.
Councilmember McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilmember Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. At this time, I motion to move into executive session pursuant to Public Officers Law, Section 105, subsection F, to discuss the medical and employment history of a particular person or persons. At the close of executive session, we will not take up any additional town business. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, we stand adjourned. Thank you.